On to the team that is looking to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs, the LA Chargers. Definitely not the Denver Broncos. You got to get this Broncos agenda out of your mind right now. The LA Chargers, last year, they went 7-9. They lost a lot of close games. In fact, they had 6 games where they had a double-digit lead in 2020 and lost 4 of them.
That's egregious.
And Anthony Lynn was 7-16 in one possession games before the 2020 season. Coaching had a lot to do with why the Chargers were bad last year, and I think getting Brandon Staley in the building is definitely a step in the right direction. I think the LA Chargers make the playoffs this season, and they are going to go 11-6. Moving from Anthony Lynn to Brandon Staley, I think Joe Lombardi, even though I had my doubts about him, he has, in training camp, the offense has looked good. In these joint practices, they have looked good. In the preseason, it has looked good. And Brandon Staley said that, hey, I want to have the best passing offense. We're going to throw the hell out this ball. He said a curse word, but I'm going to say hell out this ball. Brandon Staley believes in Justin Herbert, and why wouldn't you? Exactly. Herbert had a historic rookie season, and last year, the same thing with the Chiefs. Their problem was the offensive line. They got Corey Linsley. They got Matt Filer, and they drafted Rashawn Slater, and they still have Brian Bulaga there. The one concern is the guard position, Ode Abushi. I'm not sure how good he's going to be, but now Brandon Staley on that defense. Gus Bradley has not been good for the Chargers these past couple of years, and now the Chargers are getting back Derwin James as well. You know, Chris Harris Jr., Michael Davis. I think Asante Samuel Jr. is going to be a stud.
Yeah.
He has been really good. Nazir Adderley and Derwin James. I mean, these guys, the Chargers have a lot of talent. Then you look at their offense, Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Josh Palmer has been impressing, Jared Cook. The Chargers are bound to have a great season, and you never know if the Chiefs do stumble. If the Chiefs aren't who we think they are, if Patrick Mahomes isn't 100% fully healthy, if that offensive line is not so great because they are starting 3 rookies, the Chargers could win the division. That's not too far-fetched to say, but I have them at 11-6, a playoff lock for sure.
Well, you know, like you said, coaching, clock management, injuries really destroyed San Diego last year. But for the most part, you know, you got to see Justin Herbert. He was amazing, phenomenal. I have them at 10-7. I do think they will. I'm not going to say they definitively make the playoffs, but they will be fighting for that 6-7 seed. I think they'll be right in the fight. You know, we still have to see how these guys play. We have to see if they can stay healthy. But for the most part, I think healthy. You know, Derwin James, he looked really good in preseason. Definitely. He's back. They missed him all last year. So I think now that he's back, that defense will be solid. That offense is going to continue to take the next step. Like you said, they still have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. They still got them boys, Austin Eckler. So I think, you know, 10-7. 10 is like the floor for them. I think they can definitely win more games. But, you know, got to see with the coach. But I have them at 10-7.
I also have them at 11-6. Now, 2020, they actually lost. In 2020 alone, they lost 7 games by 1 possession. And you think, you know, they were a bottom-tier team this season, but either of those games go, let's say 4 or 5 of those games go the other way. They're in the playoffs, 100% fact. And now you bring in Brandon Staley, who's more defensive-minded around a team whose defense is already talent-wise one of the better ones in the league. You have arguably the best pass rusher in Joey Bosa. You have one of the best people in the secondary on your squad in Derwin James. Just a matter of if he can stay healthy or not. And obviously we've seen when he was healthy his rookie year, he was an all-pro player. He's unbelievable at what he does. And I look at that squad, and I just believe that defense automatically, with a defensive-minded head coach, is going to be a top 10 defense in the league. At least that's what it should be. And then I look at Herbert now with a revamped offensive line, revamped to a degree. They put in some pieces. They brought in Corey Linsley, who was the best available center this offseason. And people are trying to say that Herbert's going to regress because it's impossible that he does what he did last year because a lot of his throws were, you know, under pressure, and it's impossible that you can replicate a season like the one that he had this year with the amount of throws that he had made under pressure. But, you know, now you're going to actually give him time in the pocket to actually sit and make a good read. And It's not like he doesn't have rinky-dink weapons. He's got Austin Eckler, who's a solid receiving back. He's got Mike Williams, who I'm not too high on, but at the same time, he still has the talent to be a good wide receiver. Keenan Allen's obviously one of the best wide receivers in our game. It's not far-fetched to say that Justin Herbert could even increase his talent level of what he was last year into this season, given the fact that now he's actually going to have a little bit more time to chill in that pocket and make the right throw. He's a smart guy. He knows how to make his reads. He's one of the most accurate throwers of the ball in our league right now. Scrambling, sitting in the pocket, it doesn't matter. He can really do it all. I just think that 11-6. There's nothing disrespectful about that. Kansas City is just better than them. I still look at the Browns. I still look at the Ravens. I think that those teams are going to be better than them. Bills are definitely going to be better than them. Off the top of my head, it's not too far-fetched to say that the Titans are going to be better than them. It's going to be close. Titans' defense is not nearly as good as the Chargers, but I think offensively they have more firepower than they do. So 11-6, more than respectable. But one of my predictions, Herbert could be the MVP this season. And if Herbert's the MVP this season, then 11-6 is way more than possible. And so 11-6, that's what I'm going to stick with.
If you think Herbert can be the MVP this season, I think 11-6 is underselling them. I think
so?
They could win 13 games. If you think he's going to be the MVP, if he's going to be that good, I can see 13 wins. I think the Chargers, you're right. I don't think 11 wins is too far-fetched. Last year, they lost a lot of close games. They probably should have made the playoffs last year.
No doubt.
If they didn't lose so many close games. Because of that, I think it's totally possible. Now, let me go over their schedule real quick. First game, Washington.
W.
At Washington.
It's going to be a very good game, but I'm gonna lean Chargers.
Chargers.
At home versus the Cowboys.
W.
Away against the Chiefs.
Chiefs. Oh, those are split. So
home versus the Raiders.
Oh, Chargers.
I'm going to give them a split, too. Raiders play them well, but I'll give them a W there. At the Raiders, you said?
No, it's
okay.
at home.
All right, W.
Home versus the Browns.
Loss.
At Baltimore.
Loss.
Home versus New England.
They're home.
Win. I think they win that game.
I think they win as well.
At Philadelphia.
Oh.
Win.
Versus Minnesota.
Loss.
Versus Pittsburgh.
Win.
Where?
If I say versus, it's at home.
Oh, then yeah, they're gonna win.
At Denver.
They're gonna split.
Mm-hmm.
At Cincinnati.
Win.
Versus New York, the Giants.
I'm going to say win.
Versus the Chiefs.
Loss, because we gave them one already.
At Houston.
Win.
Versus Denver.
I split, so I'm giving them a loss.
At Las Vegas.
I gave them a split there, too. That's a loss.
For me, I think they are going to sweep the Raiders and sweep Denver as well.
I don't think they'll sweep Denver.
I think they will only split with the Chiefs in that division.
Okay.
I think
so that's four wins, right? 4 wins, yeah.
I think Kansas, Denver, and Chargers will split. They will all split, but they will all sweep the Raiders.
Vegas plays them pretty well, and what Future has told me, so I'm going to give them a split. Our division plays each other every single season as tough as it gets, so it's not too far-fetched to say. To not give us a split is rude. Our defense is too good.